As you just saw, I just built what I consider to be a supercharged SKX. And for comparison, I have a standard SKX007 here to compare it to. First, I want to give a quick thank you to Mark over at Long Island Watch for supplying me with the mod parts and the loaner SKX. If you take a look at these two watches side by side, there's a substantial number of upgrades that the custom SKX has over the original one. On the custom SKX, we have the NH36 movement, which hacks and hand winds. The dial has raised polished markers. The chaptering is made of metal opposed to plastic. The crystal is sapphire opposed to Harlex. The insert is made of ceramic and also loomed, and the entire watch uses titanium components. So not only is this watch much more lightweight, but it's also more resistant to wear overall. On the other hand, the standard SKX007 uses an outdated 7S26 movement, which does not hack or hand wind. The dial has printed on markers, the chaptering is plastic, the crystal is Harlex, and the insert is aluminum. So overall, the original SKX is much more likely to show scratches and wear, especially the crystal and the insert, because those two components get damaged quite easily. Eric from the future here. I'm in the middle of editing this video, but I thought it would be worthwhile to show some examples. So here's the stock SKX007 Harlex crystal that a client of mine wanted replaced out for a sapphire because the Harlex got scratched up. I'm using a normal screwdriver with adequate force, and you can see the scratches I made on the Harlex. Now here's the same test with a double tone sapphire crystal, and with adequate force, I wasn't able to scratch it. Obviously, it's difficult to reproduce the same amount of force, but I'm really pushing down on it, and yeah, no scratches. I even tried it for a second time and still nothing. Now the insert, this is a stock SKX007 aluminum insert, and it's pretty easy to scratch. These get messed up all the time. Comparing it to a ceramic insert, I couldn't scratch it. However, ceramic can crack, so that's a negative, but you're more likely to scratch your dang aluminum than crack a ceramic insert anyways. Now to consider the question, should you buy an SKX007 in 2022? And also, should you modify an SKX007 in 2022? First, let's talk about buying one of these in general. It's a very popular watch that's loved by many collectors. It's a robust, true diver with acceptable specs back when it was worth only $200. Because it has been discontinued, the market prices are up there around $700, $800. So the SKX007 has specs that are acceptable for it being a $200 watch, not a $700, $800 watch. So it's not worth buying it, because for that kind of money, you can get a much better watch. But let's say you still want the look and feel of an SKX, I think that's when these customized or fully spec'd out SKXs come into play. It's going to be similar in price, maybe a bit more, but I still think it's worth paying that because you are getting so much more value out of your money. Now obviously I'm biased because I make and sell these custom watches, but you don't even have to get one of these. Just get a different watch with better specs for that kind of money, regardless of what brand it is. Now before we talk about modding an SKX007, I want to give a quick thank you to the sponsor of this video, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community of thousands of inspiring classes ranging from photography, illustration, freelancing, product design, marketing, and much more. New classes are launched each week, and they're also ad-free for you to stay concentrated. I use Skillshare to learn specific skills to improve my channel and also my custom watch business as well. For instance, I enjoy Michael Freeman's class, Fusion 360 Complete Course, where I'm learning my way around CAD to hopefully start prototyping and machine my own parts for my custom watches. Stay tuned for that. There's also classes like John Karasbev's How to Design, Manufacture, and Build a Brand for anyone that's looking to start their own watch company. It goes over everything you need, like finding manufacturers with recommendations, designing a case, handling the finances, and marketing logistics as well. I received tons of messages from you guys asking how to start a watch business kind of like mine. Well, there's a class for it on Skillshare. The first 1,000 people to use this link will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare, so please do take advantage of this opportunity. Thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring my channel, which allows me to make these videos for you guys. So I get many clients who come to me to get a custom watch, and they usually want to start off with an SKX007, then ask about upgrading parts like the movement, dial, hands, chapter in crystal, bezel insert, which is absolutely fine and I'm more than happy to make that possible. But you need to consider this. Every single part that you plan on replacing out or upgrading on the SKX are parts that you already paid for because you bought the entire watch, yet you don't really want or need every single one of them. Because of the low cost of the watch, that made each part of the SKX even more affordable, so it didn't really matter how many parts you replaced out and if you never found a use for them in the future. But at the high current market price of the SKX, suddenly each part of it becomes a lot more expensive because you paid a higher cost overall. So every single part that's replaced out now adds up to be quite a bit of money wasted. If you think about the SKX not as a watch but a bunch of parts put together, you essentially paid a high price for a bunch of parts that you didn't really want or need. Plus on top of that, you have to pay for the new upgraded parts that you'll be swapping them for. Unless you want to change out maybe 1-2 parts max from a stock SKX007, financially, it does not make sense to pick one of these up just to modify it. What I recommend to my clients instead is to just commission a full custom build made from scratch. And a quick plug, if you're interested in this custom watch or any custom piece that I've made for clients in the past, please do shoot me an email to place an order. Here are some examples of pieces that I made for my previous clients. All of these watches were made from scratch using custom components, so there's no base watch involved. All of these watches are 100% custom made. Why I recommend going the full custom route opposed to using a base watch is because you're only paying for the parts that you want or need. There's no money wasted on parts that will be replaced out and never used again, and also you may save on some labor costs because there is no disassembly involved. There's also another huge benefit, and that's you are no longer limited to using the SKX K-shape. Because the watch is made from scratch, you now have a blank canvas to choose any case style that you want. Whether that's the Samurai, Marine Master, 62mas, 6105, Panerai, Tuna, BNR, Aquanaut, 3 o'clock crown, 3 o'clock crown with no crown guards, 4 o'clock crown with no crown guards. There's so many more options for you to choose the case shape that you prefer the most. You can now also use different base metals like titanium and even bronze. So there are tons of benefits of not using an SKX007 as a base for a custom piece, like saving you money and allows you more flexibility to end up with a watch that you prefer more. The only reasons why you may want to use an SKX or may want to buy an SKX is maybe you just want an SKX for the sake of it being an SKX, or maybe you already own one and want to customize something that's already in hand. Now I hope I don't come out the wrong way because I love the SKX007, it's just that the market price makes it very hard to recommend. This supercharged SKX that I built is objectively better than the SKX007 in almost every aspect, yet they are similar or around the price of each other. The custom may be a little more expensive, but it's still worth paying a bit more for it. This sounds like a sales pitch, but I promise it's not. I just want to tell you guys that you can get much better watches for the money that the SKX is going for these days. So that's about it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more mod videos, please consider subscribing. Follow me on Instagram at loom_shot. And I'll see you guys in the next video.